Hello there. How are you? No, really, I'm wondering how you are. Today is January 22nd, so the inauguration happened, and a large number of other historical events have happened. And I don't know about you all, but I'm feeling pretty exhausted, pretty wiped out. Definitely been needing my sleep and just feeling kind of heavy, you know. I don't know if you might be feeling the same. I've interacted with some people who have had high levels of anxiety about the different things going on. I've seen friends on their Facebook profile just make it black. And you know, I can feel it, and as I'm sure you can too. There's concern. There's a lot of concern going on, and so I thought today it would be really important to talk about something that I think as human beings we take for granted, and in all the readings and explorations that I personally have done on my path to expanding my consciousness, we have the beautiful gift of free will. And as I understand it, that is unique to our planet, and it's unique to us as human beings. And it's an incredible gift that I think maybe we forget about and maybe take for granted. And so that's something that I just wanted to shine a light on today, because I believe that free will is what's going to get us through this bridge, this breaking through the barrier, right, of where we find ourselves right now in this place, in this time-space reality and in history. So some things to think about. I don't know if you've ever taken a minute to pause and giving some thought to what free will might actually mean or what it might actually look like. But one thing is that we have the ability to discern, and when we're mindful, like when we're consciously aware of what's going on in our world, the choices we make, the environments we find ourselves in, how we're feeling, we actually have the ability to discern how that feels, how that resonates with us, and is it in alignment with what we want. And so an example would be again, watching television shows, for example. We're able to discern now, watching this show that might have a bunch of violence in it, how does it make me feel? We can, if we take a moment to tune in and to notice, we can discern how that might make us feel, especially compared to something else that doesn't have all the violence and that might be inspiring or uplifting. And then, using our free will, we have the ability to choose to keep it on that channel or to change it to something else. Now that's a not very spiritually enlightened way of thinking about free will, but I think it's a real practical way where that we could empower and use more of, right? And that'll make a difference in our lives. That's the same, another way of thinking about it is we have the power to choose what we digest. So whether that's the flood of information coming to us through social media, and whether we're even on social media or not, the movies, the places that we visit, restaurants, bars, parks, nature, or the people that we hang out with, the office environments that we have, the businesses that we choose to support. We have, in the the music that we listen to, we have the power to choose what we want to digest, what vibrations and frequencies we want to digest and be around. And we've always had it, and it's been important, and I think you'll find that it could be a big difference between people whose lives seems to be flowing really smoothly and people who seem to hit a lot of stumbling blocks and struggle a lot. But it feels like it matters so much right now that it's really something to pay attention to, and to start asking yourself those questions, and to start looking at all the choices you make with that lens, right? From that perspective. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, and this is all around just, this feeling right now of feeling overwhelmed and in deep sadness, maybe deep concern for the future of our world, for the future of humanity, for our own personal lives right now. And I know I've been accused of, in the family that I grew up in, of, don't be an ostrich, don't put your head in the sand. And I've listened to that, and I've, kind of, worked with that to be like, is that what I'm doing? I'm an intelligent person, just like you are. I'm an intelligent person, and I don't want to be an ostrich, and I don't want to put my head in the sand and ignore things that'll make a difference. But something that I've come to understand for myself is that it's one thing to be aware, right, of all the things that are going on, but is it making a difference for you? What are you doing about it? Okay, if you're a person, and maybe you are, and bless you, and I'm sure that there's some of you out there that are doing this, but maybe you're a person who has a strong political bent, and you understand the system, and you're very active in that. Maybe you're a person who's really good at rounding people up, and as an organizer, and inspiring people to take action. Maybe you're a person who can see solutions, right? And you want to communicate those and share those with people. Maybe you're a wonderful leader and teacher who can, really help bring us together, and then help lead us into a direction that's filled with harmony and peace for all of us, one that honors unity, and that's fantastic. And maybe you are a person who is using every ounce of your energy to get through your 9 to 5, which might even be longer than 9 to 5, to make sure that your mortgage is paid, make sure your car insurance is paid. Maybe you don't even have the luxury of having a car. Maybe you're using public transportation. Maybe you're paying rent. Maybe you're using all of your energy just to get through the day-to-day, and to have food in your cupboard, and manage yourself, manage your children, care for a loved one who has, some kind of challenge, maybe requires a little bit more energy and effort, and that's like all you can manage, right? Then my question to you is, why would you consume and ingest information that you will be taking no action on, and that leaves you feeling exhausted, depleted, anxious, upset? It serves no purpose except for keeping your frequency low. So that's one of the arguments that I've used. One of the things that I've done for myself. If you're in a place where you can actually do something about what you're ingesting and concerned with, then absolutely. The other thing is, let me just look at it's simply, in my opinion, too much information. So, wasn't too many decades ago, of course, when my kids were little and even when I was young myself, we didn't have all of this information. We didn't know about, well, I'll give you an immediate example right here. Last night, getting ready for bed, I've got the TV on, and I thought, oh, well, I'm protecting myself, right? I'm not watching all the regular news. I'm just going through YouTube and I'm, watching this snippet and this snippet and this snippet. So I was watching a news highlight reel of what was going on in the world. And there was a horrendous fire at a resort hotel in Turkey, I think. I'm not sure. It's a ski resort. And they think it started in the kitchen and the whole thing was in flames, and probably a large percentage of the people, the guests in that hotel, didn't live through the fire. And I was like, whoa, that's what I'm ending my day with, right? That's what I'm going to bed with. And I am, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about that situation except feel incredibly heartbroken and horrible and so sad for those people. Well, excuse me, but how is that helpful? How does that help them? How does that help me? How does that help the world, right? It doesn't do anything except perpetuate the dread and misery and sadness. So having more information, being more aware of everything is not actually or necessarily a benefit to you. And I think that's important to consider. I think that's really important to consider. We are, I don't want to speak for everybody, so I am, and others that I communicate with are in overwhelm, and it doesn't serve us. It's not necessary, and it does not serve us. So I just want to encourage you to really use this beautiful gift that we've been given as human beings, which is called free will, and use that as a staff and a rod of power. You get to choose what environments you find yourself in. You get to choose what information you take in, and you get to choose what you put your focus on. And maybe you're concerned or thinking about, I just want to help, or it's being self-centered, right? There's so much need out there in the planet and in the world. How could I possibly be so self-centered that I'm just focusing on myself? And I'm telling you, there is nothing more valuable, more precious than you focusing on your well-being. It is so crucial and critical. If your cup is not full, you cannot serve and help others. If you're letting yourself, if you're consuming junk and letting your vibration and your frequency be brought down and be shoved down in all this sadness and remorse or just anxiety, then how can you uplift anyone? How can you help anything? Except now, what you've done, and I guess I'll say this quite bluntly, is you are now a part of the problem. So I just really hope that this is helpful to have you consider a new a different perspective. And you know what? Try it on. And if it works for you, if this kind of perspective resonates with you, fabulous. Then we can talk, right? Then there's things we can do, changes that can be made, little ones, not even really big ones, that will put you on a different trajectory. And if it doesn't resonate with you, no problem at all. No problem. Nothing but love here, and gratitude and appreciation for the diversity of all of us, because we are all so precious, and we are all such a beautiful, beautiful aspect and part of Source. So what I did, and what I'll challenge us all to do for this meditation, is I wrote down some affirmations that I am going to read probably a couple of times, and then I'll go into my meditation. And I totally understand that sometimes when you're in one place, it might be really hard to think of anything, different over here or over there. It might be, the clarity might not be there. And it might be, but I'd love to just share some of the things that I wrote down, and maybe that'll just trigger some thoughts for you, right? Something that resonates with you. And feel free to start with these too, because you can always change them. So I wrote down, I invoke the wisdom of my inner being. Ooh, inner being. I wanted to talk about that because I just heard that on Abraham Hicks recently, where she was responding to a question, and Abraham responded that they prefer the term inner being instead of soul. And I thought, I think I'll use that for a little bit and see how that feels. A soul is a trigger word. It's a charged word for me that maybe feels like it's associated with religion, has a whole lot of backstory around it and things like that. But I hadn't heard inner being, and I thought, oh, I like that. So feel free to use that if you'd like, but I'm gonna use it for a while and see how that goes. So again, I invoke the wisdom of my inner being. I trust that everything is unfolding perfectly and in alignment with divine timing. I am loved. I am love. That's a distinction that I love to make, and that's something that you can repeat to yourself multiple times throughout the day. I am loved. And know that to be true. Feel that. And I am love. I'm pure love. Now I can make different choices, but who I am is love. I choose peace. I choose harmony. I decide where to place my focus. I like that one too. I decide where to place my focus. And you could even say, and I choose, whatever that is for you. I choose to focus on what's working in my life. I choose to focus on the loving people that are around me. I choose to focus on the blessing that I have a monthly income or regular income. I choose to focus on the blessing that I have health. I choose to focus on the blessing that I have eyes to see and that I can walk. I choose to focus on the blessing that I have someone in my life who loves me. I choose to focus on the blessing that I have the ability to make my life even better if I choose. I move through my day with grace and loving kindness, mindful of my focus and trusting that all is well. So I'll read that again. I move through my day with grace and loving kindness, mindful of my focus and trusting that all is well. That seems like a nice little reminder. It's like our anthem, right? Like, you got this. You so got this. And it's now is a great time to have practices like this, writing down affirmations. Now is a great time to be consciously aware of where you're putting your focus and what you are choosing, either consciously or unconsciously, to allow into your world and into your frequency. And now is a fantastic time to commit to that 10 minutes or so every day to be still and quiet, still the body, quiet the mind, go within and connect. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I really enjoy our conversations. And now we'll get to the meditation.